welcome back friends, as we were discussing the extraction methods for volatile oils. So next in the series is the enfleurage method, and again this method is one of the oldest technique that is being utilized to prepare concretes and absolutes. Further, it is also used to extract oil from certain delicate flowers or the delicate plant parts like petals. Now this technique is largely used for for extracting those oils which have high percentage of thermolabile constituents, because you cannot extract these type of thermolabile constituents or the oil having high percentage of thermolabile constituent using distillation methods. Now the major advantage of enfleurage method is it retains the original composition vis-a-vis original odor of the natural odor of the oil, because you are not exposing the plant material towards the heat. Therefore, most of the components like ethereal components or aldehydes, they do not get modified, they do not get hydrolyzed, they do not get polymerized. So you get more or less a natural composition or the original composition of the oil, vis-a-vis since no heating is there, you get the natural odor of that particular volatile oil. Now enfleurage is of two types, cold enfleurage and the hot enfleurage. Now the cold enfleurage is normally carried out at room temperature, that is why it is known as cold enfleurage. Here the petals or the flowers, they are pressed on a layer of fat which is spread on a glass plate, and this glass plate is fixed in a wooden frame. As you can see in the picture, picture 1 shows the enfleurage process, where these flowers or the petals are fixed on the fatty layer. Now once these flowers or the petals are fixed on the fatty layer, the volatile components they get absorbed in the fat layer and get exhausted. Once they are exhausted, they are carefully removed, and again this process is manual, and this removal of the exhausted flowers or the petals is known as defleurage, which you can see in the second picture, where a lady is removing all those flowers from or the petals from the fatty layer. Now once these flowers or petals are removed, they are replaced by the fresh flowers or the petals, and the process is continued till the fatty layer gets saturated with the oil or the volatile constituents. Now once the fatty layer is saturated with the oil or volatile constituents, the fatty layer is removed, and the fatty layer is then extracted with the ethyl alcohol. So I'll go back to yesterday's lecture where I discussed that one of the term pomade is largely used in connection with the volatile oil or essential oils, and I told you that the fatty material, that is the saturated fatty material that is obtained during the enfleurage process, is called pomade. So here I will come back to enfleurage. So once the fatty layer gets saturated with the volatile oil or the volatile constituent, we call it as pomade, and this pomade is then subjected to the extraction with organic solvent, non-polar organic solvent such as hexane or petroleum ether or toluene, and the distillate or the extract which we obtain is called as concrete. Again, if we are extracting this pomade with the help of ethyl alcohol, then the product which we obtain is called an absolute. So these are the two products which you can obtain through the enfleurage process. Now this second type of enfleurage is hot enfleurage, and this process is also known as maceration. Now in this, petals are normally they are dipped in a melted fat. This is a difference from the cold enfleurage, where you are fixing the petals and flower on the solid fat. Here you are dipping all those petals or flowers in a melted fat, and they are continuously heated for 1 hour at a temperature of 45 to 60 degrees Celsius. Now again the volatile constituent or the volatile oil, they get absorbed into the melted fat, and once the plant material is exhausted or the fatty layer or the melted fat is saturated with the constituent, the fat is filtered off from the petals and the flowers, and the melted fat is then extracted with the alcohol to get absolute. Now the hot maceration process is largely used for the flowers which have a very short shelf life, after plucking, like lily of the valley, which is commonly known as Convallaria majalis. So these flowers have a very short shelf life. Therefore, they are not, the oil from these flowers normally extracted with the help of hot maceration or the hot enfleurage process. Now the next process we have is the solvent extraction, and it is largely done using the volatile solvents, mainly non-polar solvents such as petroleum ether and hexane. And the major advantage of solvent extraction technique is the extraction can be done at uniform temperature, usually 50 degrees Celsius, and can be maintained throughout the process. And since the extraction is done at a very low temperature, thermal degradation is minimized in this process. Vis-a-vis the oil that is obtained, it retains its natural odor, and very less alteration in the chemical composition of the oil occurs, because you are heating or you are extracting the oil at a very low temperature. Now these are the extraction methods. Now I move on to the modern methods like supercritical fluid extraction, where we use supercritical fluids such as carbon dioxide. Now when carbon dioxide is a gas, but if you expose carbon dioxide at a temperature and pressure beyond its critical value, then the carbon dioxide will act as a solvent. And since the conditions or the critical conditions for the carbon dioxide can be easily attained, so carbon dioxide is the most widely used solvent in supercritical fluid extraction. Now again you are not exposing the plant material at higher temperature or pressure in supercritical fluid extraction. Therefore, the yield of the oil is improved, vis-a-vis quality of the oil is improved. Another modern extraction method is solid phase micro extraction, where you have to extract very small quantities of the oil from the plant material. In this, what we do is we take a polymer or an adsorbent in a small tube, and this tube is attached to a bigger tube through which a warm air is being passed, and this tube is placed over the plant material, and the plant material is heated. The volatile constituent or the oil get evaporated, and it gets adsorbed on that adsorbent present or the polymer present in the tube, and from there it is extracted with the help of solvent. And nowadays microwave assisted extraction is also being used to extract volatile oil, and further the plant material is heated using the microwaves, thereby decreasing the overall extraction time or the distillation time, because you can distill the oils using microwave also. So the overall extraction time is reduced in the microwave type of extraction. Then microwaves are also used for a solvent free extraction, where the plant material is heated without any solvent. This helps in reducing the traces of the solvent in the volatile oil. But the major disadvantage of these techniques, microwave or solvent free microwave assisted techniques, is only the thermal degradation of the constituents of the volatile oil. So this was in brief about the modern methods that are being used today for extracting volatile oils. Now we move on to the uses of the volatile oils. Again, the uses for the plants, because as we discussed yesterday that these are the defensive chemicals or defensive agents for the plant itself. So whenever they are attacked by a microorganism or they have any pest infestation, they start producing these chemicals as a defensive chemicals. Then these volatile oils also act as attractants for various insects which help in their pollination. And since volatile oils have a very good antimicrobial properties, they protect the plants from various bacterial or fungal infections. Now, apart from the uses in the plants, volatile oils have great uses for man, and they are widely used in perfumery industry. Though today most of the perfumes or the constituents that are being used in perfumery are the synthetic ones, but still some people do prefer the natural oils that are being used to prepare these perfumes. Next major use is in aromatherapy, and I'm sure everybody knows about aromatherapy, where we treat certain diseases with the help of the aroma of these natural oils. And aromatherapy has been further categorized into aromacology, where the odor of these oils is used to to attain the overall the psychological well-being of a person. So it is more or less the relation between odor and the psychology of the man, that is aromatology. And next is the aromatology. It is nothing but the when the oil are administered inside the body through oral route or anal route or the vaginal route. Now many believe that since once the oil is administered in the body, then the role of aroma is not there, and therefore aromatology is not being considered as a part of aromatherapy. Now the modern aromatherapy was given by René Maurice Gattefossé, who is known as the father of aromatherapy. Basically, he was having a perfumery of his own, and one day while working in the lab, he burned his hand, and immediately he dipped his burnt hand in a container having lavender oil, and he was amazed to see the therapeutic benefits of lavender oil on his burnt skin. And that's why he start exploring the therapeutic uses of the oil or the aroma of the oil, and hence he gave birth to the term that is aromatherapy. According to him, aromatherapy has been categorized into cosmetic aromatherapy, which is largely concerned with the nourishment of the skin or hair and the anti-aging processes. Then massage aromatherapy, which is largely related with the strengthening and relaxing of the muscles. And therapeutic aromatherapy, which largely deals with the treatment of specific diseases. Now in aromatherapy, the oils are normally used topically through the skin, or they are used as inhalations, they are used in baths and saunas. Now coming on to cosmetic aromatherapy, as I told you, it is largely used for the nourishment of skin and hair. Various types of oils like lemon oil, orange, rose, sage, tea tree oils, they are largely used in cosmetic aromatherapy. Then we have massage aromatherapy. Moray in 1989 gave the concept of massage aromatherapy, where she tried to explore the benefits of the oil when they are absorbed through the dermal layer of our skin. And various oils like orange, coriander, eucalyptus, mentha, juniper, geranium, and so on and so forth, they are used for the massage therapy in order to strengthening of the muscles or relaxing of the muscles. And in therapeutic aromatherapy, as I told you, that it is largely used to treat specific disorders like insomnia. We use valerian oil, lavender oil, lemon or Malacia oil. And to treat anxiety and stress, we use angelica oil, orange, patchouli, valerian and geranium oil. To treat cognitive disorders or to improve cognition, we use rosemary, mei-chang oil, sage oil or peppermint oil. And to treat the pains in bone and joints, we use cinnamon oil or ginger, rosemary or chamomile oil. Now apart from this aromatherapy, which is more or less an alternative system of medicine or a complementary system of medicine, the essential oils are also used for their therapeutic benefits, such as some of the oils like fennel and coriander. They are used as carminative, and I am sure everybody must have tasted the fennel oil when they were infants or babies, because babies or infants normally they have colic pain, flatulence in their stomach, and to reduce that colic pain or flatulence, fennel oil is normally administered orally. Then some of the oils are also used as local analgesic. The best example you can remember is clove oil, which is widely used as dental analgesic to treat toothache. Then antispasmodic like bitter almond oil. Juniper oil is used as a diuretic. For insomnia or as sedative, valerian oil is used. Eucalyptus oil is having very good antiseptic properties, and peppermint oil is more or less used as a stimulant. Now apart from these medicinal uses, most of the oils have antimicrobial actions, and they have a very good bacteriostatic or fungistatic or virostatic action. They basically increase the permeability of the membrane of the microorganism, which causes loss of ions and reduction in the membrane potential, thereby causing the death of the microorganism. Then they also causes the collapse of the proton pump in the microorganism, thereby decreasing the production as well as the pool of the ATP, which further causes the death of the microorganism. Now, apart from these mechanisms, they also cause coagulation of the cytoplasm. They damage the lipids and the proteins that are present in the membrane, thereby causing the lysis of the microorganism or the bacterial cell. They also cause mutagenicity in the nucleus and the cytoplasm of the microorganism, thereby causing its death. So all these mechanisms, they are shown by the volatile oils. By virtue of these mechanisms, they have exhibited very good, very potent, I will say, antimicrobial action. Now, these were the medicinal uses. Now we move on to the pharmaceutical uses of these volatile oils, and in pharmaceutical industry, they are largely used as flavoring agents, odor masking agents, and as preservatives because of their strong antimicrobial action. Now we move on to another important aspect, that is analysis of volatile oil, because since they are applied topically, they are administered, they are used in pharmaceuticals, so the quality of the volatile oils become a great challenge, because normally these oils, the original or the natural oils, are very expensive, and they have a tendency to get adulterated, and the type of adulteration that can be done in volatile oils can further be categorized into simple adulteration, and the second one is the refined adulteration or sophistication. So in simple adulteration, the addition of natural or the synthetic compounds with an aim of generating an oil characterized by specific quality values such as density, optical rotation, residue percentage, ester value, and so on and so forth. Now in this simple adulteration, what is being done is sometimes synthetic or some other natural compounds are added in order to have the same or the physicochemical parameters value in the prescribed range, and that is why it can be easily detected. Whereas refined sophistications, these involve the reconstitution and counterfeiting of commercially valuable oils, and in these the natural and synthetic compounds are added to enhance the market value of that particular oil, and the adulteration done is in such a manner that it makes adulteration or the detection of the adulteration a very troublesome task, and it's very difficult to detect such kind of adulteration. But still there are certain parameters which can be used to detect the adulteration. One is specific gravity, which is nothing but the ratios of the density of the oil to water at a particular temperature, and the common range of the specific gravity of different oils fall in the range of 0.696 to 1.118 at 15 degrees Celsius. Now if you have to change the temperature, then you have to add the conversion factor if you are determining the specific gravities at different temperatures. So if your sample is having a specific gravity beyond or below the prescribed limits, one can easily say that it has been adulterated, or it is of poor quality. Next is the optical rotation, and it is measured with the help of polarimeter. It is angle of the rotation of the plane polarized light at a particular wavelength and temperature, and since most of the constituents in the volatile are optically active and they are present in the isomeric forms, optical rotation becomes an important parameter for assessing the quality or the assessment of the purity of the volatile oils. Next we have is the refractive index, and it is the ratio of the angle of incidence to the angle of refraction of a beam of light that is passing from a lens dense to a denser media. And Abbe's refractometer is the major equipment or the most widely used equipment, which is normally equipped with a monochromatic sodium light source. Suppose if you are measuring the refractive index at a lower or a higher temperature from 20 degrees, because normally it is being done at 20 degrees or at room temperature. So if you are varying a temperature at which it is being determined, again you have to add or subtract the correction factor accordingly as per degrees. Apart from these physical methods, there are certain solubility tests which can also give you an idea about the quality of the oil. So for the oils which are rich in phenolic compounds, what you can do is you can take small amount of oil and dissolve it in aqueous potassium hydroxide solution, and if the solubility of oil is decreased in comparison to the standard oil, it will indicate the presence of impurities. Same, if the oils are rich in aldehyde, then you can dissolve the oil in the solution of dilute bisulfite, then incomplete dissolution will indicate the impurities. And if your oil is rich in ketones, then you can use neutral sulfide in place of dilute bisulfide, and again the incomplete dissolution will show you the presence of impurities in that particular oil. Now one can easily detect the presence of water in the oil also. So what happens is, normally the oils that are rich in oxygenated compounds or phenols, they have tendency to absorb certain amount of moisture or water. So in order to detect the presence of water, the oil is dissolved in an organic solvent, say chloroform or hexane or petroleum ether, and then small amount of water if present in the oil, then the mixture will become turbid. So if the oil is having small amount of moisture, when you will add an organic solvent, so you will get a turbid mixture, whereas if the oil is free from moisture, then the solution or the mixture with an organic solvent will be absolutely clear. Now, apart from these traditional methods, there are certain modern chromatographic methods that are also being utilized to analyze these volatile oils, and these are thin layer chromatography, where we develop fingerprint TLC profiles of various oils, in which we determine the number of spots, the color of the spots, their RF values, the intensity of the spots, and then we compare that fingerprint profile with the profile of a standard oil. And if the test oil is having almost similar kind of profile in terms of the number of spots or the intensity or the color or the RF, one can easily get an idea about the quality of the oil. Then we can also use HPTLC profiles to determine, to assess the quality of the oils in the similar manner, and we can also quantify a particular constituent of the oil using HPTLC or TLC densitometric analysis. Same in HPLC also, we use HPLC chromatograms, and we can develop fingerprint chromatograms on HPLC, and we can also quantify a particular constituent present in the oil. And last and the most widely used chromatographic techniques for the volatile oils is gas chromatography, and with gas chromatography we can use various detectors like flame ionization, thermal conductivity detectors, or mass spectrophotometers. And amongst these three, GC-MS along with MS, that is mass spectrometer, it is the most widely used equipment for assessing the quality of the volatile oils. Now we move on to the safety and toxicity concerns of these volatile oils, because we have now covered the therapeutic uses or the aromatherapeutic uses of the oils. Apart from these uses, these oils have certain safety concerns also, and the number one is the allergic reactions which these oils can cause. Because some of the oils, they are rich in certain type of constituents like benzyl alcohol or cinnamyl alcohol, eugenol, hydroxycitronilol or isoeugenol, benzyl salicylate or cinnamaldehyde, and so on and so forth. And whenever these oils are applied on the skin, if a person is allergic to these constituents, he will immediately show allergic reactions of the skin, which can be assessed in terms of reddening of the skin or rashes on the skin or the itchiness of the skin. So allergic reactions by these oils is one of the major concern. Next concern is of carcinogenicity. Some of the volatile oils have shown carcinogenic action, and I have taken example of the oil of Salvia scaleria and Melaleuca quinquenervia, which provokes the secretions of estrogen, and they have shown to induce the estrogen dependent cancers in various in vitro studies, though these types of studies have to be corroborated by the in vivo results, but in vitro studies they have shown to induce the estrogen dependent cancers. Likewise, oil of Citrus bergamia can induce the skin cancers, as it has been shown in different studies. Next safety concern or the toxicity concern is their phototoxicity or photosensitization. Certain oils, they are rich in coumarin type of compounds or soralanes, where they absorb the sunlight and causes phototoxicity, and this phototoxicity is in terms of hyperpigmentation of the skin, and as you can see in the picture on the cheeks or on the hands, the person who was allergic or who exhibited the toxic effects of the oil of Citrus bergmania, and you can clearly see the hyperpigmentation on the hand. So these are the few safety or the toxicity concerns of these volatile oils, and what can be done to prevent these toxicity effects. I will discuss in next slide. There are certain other effects like migraines, headache, dizziness, nausea, shortness of breath, or asthma that are also caused by certain volatile oils. Now, what precautions one can do is that you should always dilute your oil before use, and for diluting you can always use certain carrier oils, and this dilution and the use of carrier oils has been seen in aromatherapy, and carrier oils like coconut oil or olive oil are largely used before these volatile oils are applied on the skin. Now, one can also take a precaution that these volatile oils are free from the traces of the solvent that has been used to extract these volatile oils, specifically if organic solvents are used, because it has been observed certain organic solvents have carcinogenic effect. And third, before using these volatile oils, one can always perform a skin patch test in order to see whether the person who is going to use it, whether he or she is allergic to these oils or not. So by following all these precautionary steps, one can always keep these allergic reactions or the phototoxicity reactions or carcinogenicity at a bay, and one can easily use these oils for cosmetic, therapeutic, massage purposes. So friends, this was all about the volatile oils, starting from their definition, their properties, their localization in the plant parts, their classification, their composition, biosynthesis, then various classes of the volatile oils, then various methods of their extraction, moving on to uses, their analysis and safety concerns. Thank you.